Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into Support the Cause. But here's the twist. We're not just talking about any cause. We're going to explore how the author of Pure Consciousness, Taking on the Way Inside, views supporting, well, their own book.
That's right. It's a unique perspective. The book aims to simplify life, make it more meaningful, less suffering, lots of internal tools, exploration, and change. And it's written in these separate chapters so you can hop around or read it straight through.
But we're laser focused today. Just the chapter, Support the Cause, and what it tells us about the author's take on, well, us supporting this very book we're discussing.
Kind of meta, right?
Yeah, it gets pretty meta. And it starts with a question. Will pure consciousness be developed further in the future? New versions and such.
So right off the bat, the author's acknowledging this book might evolve.
Exactly. And they say they hope to release newer versions as long as it feels meaningful to them, and as long as they're able to keep doing the work.
So they're putting it out there. This book could change. Yeah, and there's a suggestion for anyone listening who's already finding value in the current version. They encourage you to check back later.
Check for updates. Got it.
Yep, the official website is https://pureconsciousness.info. Pretty simple to remember.
Straightforward. I like it. But it goes beyond just checking for a new edition. There's this, call to action that pops up.
Oh, yeah, a big one. The author almost pleads with readers, if you find this book beneficial, spread the word, help others find it.
It's not just, hey, read this. It's, help me get this to more people.
Exactly. And their reasoning is pretty powerful, I think.
Yeah, what is it that drives the author to make this plea?
They say even if this book just touches one life, changes one life, or saves one life, its purpose is fulfilled. Not about fame or money. It's about impact, even on a small scale.
That's a powerful statement. Makes me think about why we support anything, really. What makes us so passionate about certain ideas?
That's a great question. And how do we spread the word about those things effectively? What even is effective support? How do we make a real difference?
We're zeroing in on this one chapter, but that's something bigger, goes way beyond just this one book, gets at something fundamental about us, about how we interact with the world.
Right. It's like, yeah, we're focused on the author's perspective on support the cause for this specific book. But, thinking about those bigger questions is important too. What causes are you passionate about? What knowledge do you feel driven to share? And ultimately, how can you be a more effective supporter in the world?
Big questions to ponder. So let's dive into what the author says about why this book is worth supporting. They get personal, talk about their journey, how they came to these ideas. They even share some struggles, like a mental breakdown they had as a teenager.
Yeah, that part was pretty intense. They talk about feeling overwhelmed by their own thoughts, couldn't find peace, couldn't find direction. And this experience, it seems like it was the catalyst for their own self-exploration, the journey that led them to what's in the book.
So connecting their personal struggles to the message of the book, huh?
Yeah, and they're not claiming to be some guru with all the answers. They're more like, hey, this is my story, the good and the bad. And these practices, this is what helped me through some really tough times.
It's like a testament to the power of what they're sharing, not just theory.
Right. And it goes even further. They seem to be saying that anyone, regardless of their past or their challenges, has the potential to find inner peace and, fulfillment.
It's a message of hope, for sure.
Definitely. It's like, this worked for me, maybe it'll work for you too.
And I feel like in the context of supporting the cause, they're saying sharing these tools, that's a big part of their mission.
Yeah, it's like they're healing and wanting others to heal. They're intertwined somehow.
They even talk about this specific moment of clarity, like a turning point. It happened when they were a teenager, sitting on a park bench.
Right, a real turning point. They were feeling lost and despairing, then suddenly this profound sense of connection, something bigger than themselves.
And that experience, this shift in consciousness, they seem to be saying, it's not just for those who have these dramatic epiphanies. It's available to everyone.
Right, they believe we can all tap into this universal consciousness through things like meditation and mindfulness, even just paying attention to the present moment.
And to connect it back to supporting the cause, I feel like they're saying this deeper connection, this awareness, that's what fuels their passion. It's not just promoting a book, it's spreading this message of hope and healing.
Yeah, that's insightful. It really does tie their personal journey to this call to action in a deep way.
It brings us back to that question. What makes us so passionate about supporting certain things? For this author, it seems to be rooted in this profound shift they experienced, something they believe can change the world.
They seem to be saying that when we connect to something bigger than ourselves, When we feel that sense of interconnectedness, that's when we're driven to contribute, to make a difference.
And for them, that's supporting this book, spreading this message of hope and healing.
It's a fascinating example of how our personal experiences can shape how we see the world and what we're driven to do.
So we've talked about the author's journey, their belief in the power of their work. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of this Support the Cause chapter. What exactly are they asking for?
Well, they want readers to get active. Talk to friends and family about the book, suggest it to book clubs, even leave reviews online.
Spread the word, basically.
Yeah, get it into more hands.
But they're also saying, don't just read it passively.
Right. Take notes, highlight parts that stand out, think about how it applies to your life. They even want readers to reach out to them directly, with questions or feedback.
There's a two-way street.
Exactly. It's like they see this book as a living thing, something that grows and changes through the people engaging with it.
They even suggest there might be future versions, updated and improved based on feedback.
It's interesting. Not a finished product, more like an ongoing project, a collaboration.
That's pretty unique. Supporting a cause isn't just about promoting something that's done. It's participating in its evolution.
And it shows you how much they believe in this. They're willing to keep working on it, refining it.
So we've talked about the author's journey, their beliefs, the ways they ask for support. But before we move on, I'm curious, what really struck you about this chapter? What resonated personally?
Honestly, it's the author's authenticity. They're not afraid to be vulnerable, sharing their struggles and wins. It feels relatable, inspiring even.
Yeah, I get that. There's sincerity there, Hart. It's more than just a sales pitch.
Totally. It's like an invitation to self-discovery, to connecting with something bigger, and to creating a more, enlightened world.
And that, I think, is the core of supporting any cause. Finding something that aligns with your values sparks passion in you and makes you want to take action.
It's about finding your way to make a difference, whether it's spreading a message, supporting a project, or just living your life in a way that reflects what you believe.
A cause worth supporting.
Exactly. We've been talking about how the author views supporting their work, not just about sales, but spreading a message. But there's this other layer, right? How we support something matters just as much as why.
Yeah, they make this point, like simply promoting something, that's not enough. You got to connect with the deeper meaning, what they call the positive root of the cause.
Not just shouting, this book is great. It's more like understanding why it clicks with you personally, what makes it worth fighting for.
Exactly. And they talk about this thing, inner sensitivity, tapping into that to uncover the values, the beliefs that pull us toward a certain cause.
They describe it as like this heightened awareness of what's going on inside you, gut feelings, those whispers that say, this is important.
Right, and not just feelings. They want us to really analyze our thoughts. Why do certain ideas resonate? What are the deeper values, the motivations behind the passion?
So before you even talk about supporting something, gotta look inward. What speaks to me about this? Why do I want to share it? They seem to think that's crucial for truly effective support. Speaking from the heart, sharing your passion with real conviction.
When you feel it, it shows. That enthusiasm, it rubs off on people. It's powerful.
They even say that if you don't have that inner connection, it can lead to ineffective support, even harmful. Imagine someone promoting something they don't even believe in. Falls flat, right?
Totally. Trying to sell a product you hate. Maybe you fool a few people, but that lack of genuine excitement, it comes through.
The author seems to be getting at this. Supporting a cause should be like an extension of your values, something you truly care about, something tied to your purpose.
And when you hit that alignment, when you're acting from that place, that's when your support really makes an impact.
They also point out not everyone's going to share your excitement for every cause. There's going to be skepticism, resistance, even outright pushback.
Yeah, that's life, right? Anytime you try to promote something, not everyone's on board with your vision.
Right. And they give some practical advice for dealing with that. Respectful dialogue, listening to other viewpoints, trying to find some common ground.
So no shoving beliefs down people's throats, no yelling matches, more like open conversations, even with folks who disagree.
They suggest sharing personal experiences, how the cause has touched your life. That can connect better than just arguments.
People respond to stories, not just debates. It lets them see the human side, feel it emotionally.
And even when there's pushback, they say, stay true to yourself, speak your truth, have courage.
It's a balance, being persuasive but respectful, standing up for what you believe in but honoring other people's views.
They also get real about the fact that this stuff takes time. Promoting a cause, it's a long game. Not always instant results, not always a quick win.
Easy to get discouraged if you don't see things changing overnight. So how do you stay motivated for the long haul?
Remember your why. Why does this matter to you? Reconnect with those deeper reasons.
Tap into that well of purpose, the thing that keeps you going even when it's tough.
Surround yourself with people who get it. Like-minded folks who share your passion. They can lift you up.
Build that network, your team. They help you see the big picture, celebrate those small wins, and weather those inevitable storms.
And they remind us that even the little things count. Sharing the book, having a good conversation, living your values, it all contributes.
We're all part of something bigger, right? Our actions, even the small ones, they ripple outwards.
And the author seems to think that when we get that, when we understand our actions have power, that's when real motivation kicks in. That's inspiration that lasts.
That's a key takeaway from this Support the Cause dive, I think. It's more than promoting. It's about aligning what we do with what we believe, creating the world we want to see.
It's recognizing we all have a role to play in making things more conscious, more compassionate. It starts with each of us, taking responsibility for our own growth, our own evolution, cultivating those qualities of peace and love, and then sharing them with the world.
Okay, now I'm fired up. But before we get too lost in all this talk of transformation, let's bring it back to the practical stuff. The author gives all these suggestions for spreading the word. But are there any, specific techniques for getting the message across? Persuading people to join in?
They really stress authenticity and clarity. Speak from the heart, share your experiences, don't use jargon, keep it relatable.
Keep it real, make it understandable, let your passion shine.
Exactly. And focus on the good stuff, Paint a picture of how this cause makes a positive impact on individuals, on the world.
Show people why it matters, why it's worth their time.
And use different ways to communicate, different channels to reach different people, social media, email, talking face-to-face, maybe even public speaking. Some people use art, music, to express these things.
Get creative. Meet people where they're at. Use all the tools you've got.
And listen to feedback. Be open to different views. Tweak your message so it resonates with more people.
No one-size-fits-all approach, right?
Yeah.
Got to be flexible.
Oh, and build relationships with those influencers, the people who already have a following that might be interested in this cause.
Use those networks, those collaborations, to spread the message further. Okay, we've covered a lot. Connecting with your why, having those respectful conversations, using all the tools you've got to promote the cause. But before we wrap up this part, what really stood out to you about their approach?
It's that interconnectedness, the idea that even small actions ripple outwards.
Totally agree. It's not just a book, not just a message. It's like they're talking about creating a movement, a real shift in consciousness.
And it starts with us, owning our growth, cultivating those inner qualities of peace and love, and then sharing them.
Powerful stuff. It reminds me, supporting a cause isn't just about money or rallies. It's about living your values, building the world you want to see.
And that's a cause worth supporting.
We've uncovered some really insightful advice from this chapter on connecting with a cause, finding that positive route to fuel genuine support. But I'm thinking, the author's asking us to support their book, spread its message. Is there anything unique about how they suggest we approach that specifically, compared to any other cause, I mean?
There is this subtle thing they say, and I think it applies directly to this book and, how it might evolve in the future. They remind us that the book, it's made of separate chapters.
Yeah.
Like building blocks, almost.
Right. From the intro, you can read it in any order. Focus on what speaks to you in the moment.
Exactly. And when they talk about support the cause, they suggest zeroing in on the chapters that resonate the most. Share those with people, the ones that really got to you.
Interesting. So it's not you got to promote the whole thing. More like focus on the parts that you really connect with, the parts you think can truly help others.
Yeah, and that goes back to the whole positive root idea. If a certain chapter speaks to you, if you see how it could help someone, well, that becomes your focus, your rallying cry.
So instead of just saying, hey, this book about consciousness is cool, it's more like there's this amazing chapter on, I don't know, overcoming negative thoughts. It really helped me, and maybe it can help you too.
Right. You're sharing a personal experience, a piece of wisdom that meant something to you, that you think could benefit someone else. It's not just a product anymore.
And in doing that, you're supporting those specific ideas, those practices, not just the book as a whole, right?
Yeah, and I think that's way more powerful, more authentic. For any cause, really. A book, an organization, a social movement. Find what truly speaks to you and share that with passion.
This deep dive has been, wow, eye-opening. We went beyond just support this book and found this whole approach to supporting anything, starting with yourself, with real connection.
We saw how the author's own life, their experiences, shaped their view of support the cause. It's more than just promoting their work, it's a call to action.
They wanted to join a movement, become part of something bigger, to help create a more conscious, compassionate world.
It's quite an invitation.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Support the Cause. We hope you found it insightful, maybe even inspiring. And remember, as you go out there, as you find causes that speak to you, ask yourself, what's the positive root here, and how can I share that with genuine passion?
Keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep shining your light.